See you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Okay. I just want to go over what we did last week. You were here and you're telling me about the problems that you had doing your work and staying focused because of your passing of your loved one. So today I would just kind of like to talk to you a little bit more about that. And before we begin, I just want to remind you again that anything that you and I discussed today will be kept confidential. Okay. The only thing that would break that is if you were to present a harm to yourself or others. Okay. Do you have any questions about that again?
No, I understand.
Okay. So let's go back to what we were talking about last week. We left off on your mother. What can you tell me about her and the situation that happened?
Well, she was up in age. She was in her 70s, but she had a heart problem, and they determined that she was going to have open heart surgery. We didn't want her to have the surgery because we were concerned about her age, but she chose to do so. And then after she had the surgery, about a week afterwards, she had a massive stroke. And was paralyzed, couldn't talk, and she had always told me through the years that that was one of the things she did not want to be. She never wanted to be paralyzed, and she never wanted to be to a point that she couldn't communicate. And everything that she feared the most is exactly what happened to her. She had a massive stroke, which caused her not to be able to communicate or talk. She had a hard time thinking. She couldn't walk. She couldn't use her right hand. And basically, she was not able to even care for herself. And so it was pretty devastating for us and for myself.
And what can you tell me about this situation? What ended up happening?
Well, she had the stroke, and unfortunately, I don't live in the area. We lived about 250 miles away, and so I was working. So it was real difficult for me because she had her stroke, was not able to take care of herself, and me living 250 miles away, it was very difficult for me to be able to take care of her or be able to come visit her, and it was difficult on me. And she, as I said, because she wasn't able to communicate, she wasn't able to talk, communicate, and she wasn't able to take care of herself. She couldn't walk. She couldn't use her right hand. She basically we had to put her in some sort of home, and it was very difficult for all of us to see her in that condition. And so it was devastating for me.
Sounds very difficult. How do you feel about this situation?
Well, it's hard on me because she was always a very uplifting individual, someone that enjoyed doing things. She was a hard worker, and for me to look at her to a point that she can't do anything, and she is very you can see she's weak, and it's frustrating for her because she can't do anything, communicate. She can't even take care of herself. It's it's very sad. It makes me feel really sad because then I start thinking to myself, why her? Because she's always been very good about taking care of everyone. She would go out of her way to take care of people. In fact, when she was a younger woman, her aunt had a stroke, and she had to care for about 3 years. And to me, she's always been an angel, and it's very difficult for me to see a person who dedicated so much of her life in taking care of people and helping people, and then all of a sudden it just seems, I don't understand why she would be the one to end up in that condition.
So what you're saying is that her passing has really hurt you because she was very much in a situation that you weren't okay with. Like she had.
Well, it was difficult for many reasons. It was difficult for me because I was in, first of all, when she had the stroke and she was put into this home, it was very difficult for me to get away from work. And then for me, I actually had to work out with my supervisor. We worked out a deal where I was able to get away on Fridays, and every Friday I would come down, drive down for, it was about a 4.5 hour drive. So I'd come and spend the whole weekend with her, even though she couldn't talk, she couldn't do anything. She had to be fed by hand, and so therefore, for me to have to do all of that was hard. But the hardest thing for me was just to see her in the condition she was. And then what was really devastating for me was when after 5-6 months after being in that condition and seeing her where you could see her spirit was going down. She was a lady who was very strong, and to see her not being able to do the things that she was used to doing, her spirit went down. She was brokenhearted, and then after 5 or 6 months, she passed away, and I wasn't even able to be there when she passed away. I was living in Houston, and then I was contacted that she had passed away, and for me not to be there, it was very hard for me.
You mentioned that you weren't there when she passed away. How did that affect you?
How did it affect me? Well, it was, I felt very helpless because, it's difficult enough when you're there with a person because you can't do anything for them, and you know the kind of person they were, and you know they don't want to be in that condition, but you can't do anything for them. That's difficult enough. But when you're not able to be there every day with them and help them and try to take care of them, and you live 4 hours away, your mind is always over here, in Corpus, when physically I'm in Houston. And so it's hard for me, or was hard for me, because my thoughts were always over here in Corpus when in fact I was doing work. And so it's hard to concentrate on my work. It's very hard to focus on the things that I really needed to be doing. And so from that standpoint, I felt I felt bad. And then when I heard that she had passed away, it made me feel even that much more bad, or because I wasn't even able to be there when she passed away. And in fact, I ended up actually was depressed for a long time. In fact, I am just to some degree still depressed. I have to see a doctor, and I do take medication because it's still affected me in a very negative way.
I mean, you mentioned that you feel bad and that you're depressed. How would you describe that physically to me? Like, if you had to explain it in a physical term, would that be in physical terms?
Well, the biggest thing that I feel is that it's hard for me to focus on anything that I'm doing, because every so often my mind just lingers on and thinks about her. It makes me sad. I'm not the kind of person that gets emotional and cries, so therefore everything is held inside of me. And so it's hard. I don't feel like doing anything, whereas in the past I would do things, go out and play golf and do different things. I don't feel like doing any of those things. In the mornings, sometimes I don't even feel like getting up, because what happens is when I'm sleeping, excuse me, when I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about, when I was younger, And so I don't want to wake up. I want to stay thinking about those things. So it's hard for me. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do things that I, was doing or had to been doing before. So that's how physically it impacts me.
That's very difficult. That's,
It is difficult.
how would you, what would you have wanted to say to her? You had mentioned that you weren't actually able to be there at the time. What is it that you would have liked to have said to her?
Well, I think one of the biggest drawbacks that I felt was that when I was there, even though I was speaking to her, I wasn't absolutely sure that she was understanding me, or I don't know to what degree she could, number one, hear me. I don't know to what degree she understood what I was saying. So I really don't know, and that not knowing if she was able to communicate, not only be able to hear me, but comprehend what I'm telling her. That's one of those things that just sticks with me. I feel, well, was she able to understand what I was telling her? And so what I would obviously, would have wanted, just to tell her that I loved her a lot, which I did tell her a lot of times, but I don't know if she comprehended, and that I was so sad that she was having to go through that. And then many times I would also tell her that I wish it was me rather than her, because I just felt that I didn't want her to suffer the way she did. And it was very difficult for me to see her like that, knowing that she never ever wanted to have been like that. And so those type of things, I just wish that I knew for a fact that she was able to understand what I was trying to tell her. And not knowing that, and not being able to know that she understood or didn't understand is what makes me feel bad, because there's some things that I think were left unsaid that I wish I had the opportunity to be able to communicate to her.
I just want to say that I like that you're using I when you're talking about your mother who passed away. That's very important that you express those feelings in terms of I. So I would like to continue using that, and that's very good that you're using that. I would like to ask you, what would she have said to you from those feelings that you just mentioned to me, a feeling that, what would you, her saying that you had mentioned that that you felt that you were helpless and unable to tell her anything, and that she wasn't able to hear you, what would you have wanted her to say to you at that time?
I think that the thing that was left unsaid on her part is that everything that I told her while she was in that condition, and because understanding that she was in that condition for about 6 months, and I could see it in her face, in her eyes, her crying and frustration, and wanting to talk and wanting to get up and wanting to do different things, and feeling, I'm sure, belittled because she couldn't even tend to her basic needs. I'm sure that the things I said to her about me feeling the way I did, about me being sorry that she had to go through that, and I wish that I was able to do something to be able to help her. It would have been nice for me if somehow, if she could say, yes, I understand what you're saying, I do feel bad, but I know that you love me, and I'm hearing you say that, and I believe you. I know that you would do anything that you could if you were able to do something about this, you would. those type of things, if she would have been able to acknowledge to me those things, then I think it would make me feel better.
Okay. But what would you want her to say? I noticed that you're mentioning.
What I would want her to say is, I love you. It's unfortunate that we're in this condition, but I just want to I wanted her to know how much I cared about her. And I did care a lot about her.
I like that you're putting into perspective. It does sound that you have some unfinished business with that. You had mentioned that in our conversation. A lot of times people aren't able to be in the present because they're focusing on the past. And that's very difficult for us to move on. But what I would like to do with you today is there's a technique and a theory called Gestalt theory, the Gestalt theory, which focuses on the here and now. And there's a technique called the open chair technique. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get us a chair. And I would like for you to imagine your mother in the chair, and I would like for you to have a conversation that you were unable to have with her before she passed. And is that something? And I know it's going to be difficult.
No, I understand, but I'll try it. Again, if anything helps, I'd like to see it. Do something about it.
All right, let me get a chair. All right. So, I'd like to invite you to look at this chair, and I'd like for you to close your eyes and then open them and imagine me not being here and imagine your mother being in front of you. And I'd like for you to tell her how you're feeling.
Mom, I just want to let you know that I am so sorry that you're having to do this or go through this. I know that all through the years you told me that this was one condition or a situation that you would never want to be in. It hurts me so bad to see you in the condition that you said you did not want to be. I know that you are struggling with this, but I wanted to let you know that if there was anything that I could do to help you to get over this, that I would. If I could be in your place, I would take that opportunity to do that. And I'm so sorry that you're able to not be able to get better and go back to the way things were. I just want to let you know that I love you very much.
I'd like for you to tell her how you feel right now. How are you feeling?
I miss you. I miss you so much. And I wish you were here with me. I wish you were here to experience the things that have happened in the last few years. I wish you were here to hold our new grandchild, because I know you would have been excited to be with her. And I just miss you so much. And I wish I could be with you again, and we could roll the years back, 20 years back, so that we could spend a lot more time together. And I just want to say that I miss you so much, and I'm sorry you had to go through those last moments through the way you did.
Now I'd like for you to invite you to, I'd like for you to sit in your mother's place, and I would like for you to respond to what you just said to me, as if you're talking to yourself. So I want for you to pretend that this is you and that you're your mother and what she would say to you. I know it's difficult.
I know that you love me so much, and I know that you didn't want to see me the way I was at the end. It has been difficult, but you being there has been very special to me. You are the light of my life. And yes, I do
am, I'm still with you at all times, and I want you to know that I would have wanted to have been there when your grandchild was born, and to be and experience those times with you. So I too love you very much.
Okay. Now, tell yourself how you're doing right now. How you feeling? Tell it.
Well, I feel a little better. I don't know. I still feel sad, but I'm working through it.
But I'd love for you to just continue being your mother and tell you how you are feeling. How she would feel. How she's feeling.
Well, I feel like, I feel sad because I am not able to be there with you. And I'm sad because I am not able to experience the good things that you have experienced. And I just wanted to let you know that I am there with you spiritually. And that I'm going to be there with you spiritually to take care of you and to watch over everyone in your family. Because I will always be with you.
Okay. Now I'd like for you to invite you to go back to where you were. And I would like for you to respond to what your mother said to you.
I feel so much better in that you're with me at all times. And I do know that you have always loved me. And I do know that you're going to be there with me always. And that in itself makes me feel so much better. And just remember that you are always in my mind, and you will always continue to be in my mind. And I miss you so much.
Well, thank you very much. I'd like to stop right there with this. I'd like to ask you, how did that make you feel talking to her? Being able to.
I feel that kind of confirmed that she will and has always been with me and will continue to be with me from that standpoint, because I am a very spiritual individual. I do believe in Jesus Christ and in religion, and I do know that there is a life ahead and after death, and I know that she is watching over us. And from that standpoint, it does provide a lot of comfort for me.
Okay. Well, Mr. Garza, I'd like to thank you for coming by and working with me through these techniques. I'd like to see you next week, and we can go and continue from there. I know this has been a very difficult technique, but I want to thank you for putting it and trying it and everything. You did very well. Next week we'll meet again.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. I appreciate your help.